SP Mandali was established in 1888. It's one of the very kind of oldest educational trust in India. And the beautiful part of the people who established, normally we see kind of, people who are in politics or in industry or from real estate and many other spheres, but four primary teachers coming into picture and establishing this kind of trust was absolutely very truly visionary and meaningful those days. And those days, freedom fighter Bal Gangadhar Tilak actually inspired these teachers to go ahead with the educational institution. And he requested, because he fought case for one of the gentlemen in Pune, and in lieu of his fees, he said, don't give me fees, just give me a piece of land, okay, and for educational institution. And this trust was founded on that piece of land as a SP Mandali in Pune. It was wonderful. And as probably many of our students would know, that we have some of the leading colleges like Ruia College in Mumbai, established in 1937, Poddar College in 1941, Wellinger in 1977, SP College, almost 100 years old, 1918. And likewise, many schools and colleges which are with the legacy of 100 years plus, and more than 75,000 students. Now, in fact, Wellinger was established and named after Principal Ellen Wellinger, who was a very renowned, I'll say, teacher in the Commerce College of Arts, like Poddar College of Commerce, and then he was the principal as well. And he contributed phenomenally well for the overall commerce and management fraternity in 50s and 60s. So in his memory, in fact, this college was named in 1977. And then onwards, and at that time we were running the Poddar College, actually. It was small autonomous programs which we started. And from 84, we started with the master's program. Then 1988, from the part-time master's program, PGDM from 1993 onwards. And today, in fact, we boast of about almost close to 30,000 students of Wellinger alone. And in terms of overall, the growth story goes of SP Mandali, we very significantly contribute to the resource base of entire SP Mandali. And we are self-financed. Even though we are autonomous institution, but we are self-financed, closely attached with Mumbai University, under AICTE umbrella, MHRD as well. So the way in which kind of, this trust was established and the institution has grown is phenomenally well. V School, Bangalore campus runs 4 programs. One is PGDM with multiple specialization like marketing, finance, HR ops, as well as e-business program, which is also very much in demand. As you all know, this is what EB's world. And this also is specialization, BD with the innovation of the kind of bent of mind, design thinking the bent of mind, and RBA as well, research and business analytics. So these 4 programs, in fact, I'll repeat again for students, PGDM, e-business, business design, and RBA for Bangalore. And for Mumbai, we run PGDM, e-business, business design, retail, rural, healthcare, media and entertainment, research and business analytics, RBA, and university program like MMS as well. But I'm sure, I think you all will be keen on many of these programs. I must admit and appreciate, AICTE for that matter and MHRD. In the recent, at least maybe 7, 8 years or 10 years, definitely the overall, in terms of entire transparency has come into picture, definitely. So you will find AICTE or many of the regulators are not going to the campuses for routine visits, which used to have a lot of human intervention and lead to a lot of other practices as well, malpractices as well. But that has stopped to the great extent, absolutely, at least in my view. And what happened? Our faith in the system has enhanced substantially. So data for every institution is available for the students to go through, and which is quite which is important factor, because they need not to be relying upon multiple sources. So that is definitely there. And NRF ranking particularly, I must say, that helped us to do a lot of self-introspection. And only in this, I fail always NRF when the comparison happens. If it is apple to apple comparison, it's different. But it's apple to oranges comparison. If Wellinger is in Mumbai with 1 acre land, maybe vertical campus, and similarly in any metros like Bangalore as well, and some other players as well in the market. If we compare ourselves vis-a-vis some institution with 250 acres, 200 acres, So which becomes difficult, but doesn't matter. I think we are there on the basis of our own intellectual appetite. We'll try to experiment, compete. But there we feel that, yes, some institutions which are self-financed in nature get a setback. But otherwise, I think the way in which ranking is happening and IIC kind of Institute Innovation Council kind of initiatives being phenomenal. But today you'll find, even though we are in a virtual mode, but when we appeal to our students, appeal to our faculties and everyone kind of participated, and the participation was a higher level, in fact. So IIC, this time we got 5-star rating, and we are out of 4 business schools in the country. We are one of those, and one of the only business school from the Western India as well. So I think our spirit, probably we always tell ourselves, that in this kind of moments of crisis, we must raise the bar by snatching that opportunity. And our belief always in the perpetual optimism is a force multiplier. That's the way we work. In fact, normally we try to set benchmark of about 80 percentile, 85 percentile also. With WorkX, it may go down a bit, definitely. But we look at kind of holistic approach in terms of this. We don't really look at only percentile makes a difference. So we try to encourage students with the WorkX as well, definitely. But the freshers who are there, I'm sure if their academics is also good, they also have good chances. So we look at the far more holistic approach than just only percentile driven. That's a kind of $1 million question, because for learning point of view, we always say, and we are far more innovation driven kind of business school, experimentation driven business school, and we always say that you should learn to work through opposable minds. That's the name of the game. You must learn to work through heterogeneity. If you are with a homogeneous crowd, you may get a comfort zone, but you not learn. And from that angle, definitely geographical diversity, we try to spread across country, and we conduct more than almost 100 road shows in different cities in the country. And then what happens? So at least barring maybe beyond 35% of population, which is from this our region, I think largely people come from the outside Bombay, outside Maharashtra. So that definitely gives help. Gender diversity also we encourage all the time, because gender diversity, you'll find a student council itself. We try to see that 50% student council are women, 50% are maybe men. And if the GSEC is men, the deputy GSEC has to be women, and vice versa. So we design, and we are working on that for last more than 20 years or so. Stream diversity also gives help, because a lot of times, as we know, engineering students and some of the students with kind of background which is far more quantitative driven, they try to crack the written test exams far better manner than the other BA, BSc, BCom or some of the other programs. So we try to encourage, because even though a student is with the BA history background, but he comes to the classroom with a different perspective. And we always try to guide students that you should learn to go through the multiple lenses in the entire 2 years, not only as a student or senior student or the alum or likewise, but at the same time, even from others' point of view as well. And that really helps. So diversity, and we also focus on the profile-based point of view, and that profile point of view selection process also gives us tremendous help. In V School, we see that all programs of PGDM and MMS, not today, but the last more than 20 years, it is the same, absolutely par. And we tell every company for every PGDM program and MMS as well that look, these students are going through this kind of entire process of value addition in 2 years, and you decide. And all students will go through the same, all companies. Then it's a choice of the company on the basis of the profile and performance of the students. But there's no differentiation. In fact, we have a girls' hostel close by, just behind college, and boys' hostel also just about very close by. 2 girls' hostel buildings which we have, boys' hostel also we have. For girls' hostel, already my trust, SP Mandali Trust, and my body, my chairman, vice chairman, they have worked out for investing almost close to 35-40 crores for 18-19 story girls' hostel. That just right now already the sanctions is happening through the BMC, Mumbai, in fact, MCGM, Mumbai Corporation. But hopefully in the coming year and a half or 2 years, definitely that will come through. So we are certainly supporting students in terms of hostel point of view, or also where hostel is limited, we actually take over 15-16 flats. This year also we had 16 flats taken for the students, boys or girls, in case if hostel is on the lower side. But Bangalore being that way relatively new campus, Bangalore we are from 2004. Bombay were from 1977. So Bangalore, actually, we have the full-fledged hostel facility very close to the campus, Electronic City. So we encourage students and kind of we make it mandatory for students to stay in the hostel and leverage as much as possible and study 24/7. Certainly of the opinion that location does make a difference, because when you look at placement point of view, and if you happen to be in Mumbai, and if the banking, financial services, insurance, BFSI sector, and many other kind of sectors which are present in financial capital of Mumbai, it does give you help, no doubt about it. That's one. Similarly, when I look at my Bangalore campus, Bangalore is like the Silicon Valley of India. So automatically, our campus is in the hub of a lot of other companies in and around, including Infosys, HP, and the best of the companies of the world. So automatically, you also get that mileage from the student support system, ecosystem point of view. It may be student projects, it may be probably inviting people to come via the guest faculty or even visiting faculty as well. So location helps. Place like Bombay, for us to get anyone in terms of either from India point of view or even globe point of view, for people to come and land maybe in Mumbai, Bangalore, or I'm sure likewise Delhi or some other kind of metros is easier. So location does give you that kind of advantage, and ecosystem support system becomes very easier. Only the sometimes maybe disadvantage, maybe sometimes cost of living in some of the places, but that you can't help really. But that really kind of gives you help. But at the same time, institution like us, we are also working on the vertical university kind of concept and those kind of areas, because we don't believe that we should get bogged down by the constraints at all. But parallelly, students should look at it, link with your earlier question that what students should really kind of focus on. Definitely, students should focus on the faculties. What are the faculties teaching there? If you could see their review, if you could see their blog, if you could see their videos, and maybe if any of those videos, or maybe sometimes even reference in the marketplace, if you get a sense from any of the students who did MBA in the marketplace, you can get a clearly sense that which institutions are really genuinely doing good. That everybody will give the same qualification, either PGDM or MBA or so. But that doesn't mean that everyone is the same level. Maybe out of 5,000 business schools in the country, at least we'll say we can't even name 5% of the business schools. Maybe 5% is also on the optimistic side. But certainly, student can look at the alumni, where the alumni are. The student should look at not only like a package point of view in the short term. Student should look at life as a marathon. Student should look at which business school is going to give me experiential learning, which will transform me from X to 10X and give me that vision, that foresight from the future point of view, so that anyway I'll make it big if I make my foundation correct, not only looking at package. PGDM is recognized approved by AICTE, and you have autonomy with respect to the entire curriculum design and the way in which you deliver, and a lot of such kind of autonomy given by the AICTE from the beginning itself. So we have leveraged the autonomy of PGDM from the beginning itself. That's why you will find we get 15 to 20 times more applications than our intake. And always it is in great demand. MMS or MBA, particularly with the universities, sometimes some colleges find it is challenging because they can't change the curriculum, they can't upgrade the curriculum very often. And looking at today's market conditions, what's happening because of COVID or otherwise also because of disruption technology, we need to really kind of gear up far more quickly in this VUCA world, volatile world. But for V-School, at least our MMS is under autonomy. So definitely for us, doesn't make difference. Today, in fact, in MMS also, we try to give the same like PGDM. Okay, but yes, it is attached with the university as well. But there's not much difference today. Earlier, yes, earlier the gap was too much. Now that gap has been brought down substantially. V-School believes that business is a subset of the society. Business should not superimpose for their goals and objectives on the society, but we should always keep in back of our mind that the top line and bottom line is very important, but the lifeline is more important. And from that angle, we decided that our mandate for V-School should not be as a V-School, should not be to nurture leaders for the corporate world alone, but they should be citizen leaders. And in citizen leaders, when they're nurturing, they should not be only Mumbai-centric or Maharashtra-centric, not even India-centric, they should be globe-centric. And the global citizen leader thought process, which we started first time almost way back in 11, 12, along with CCL, Center for Creative Leadership, which is one of the top leadership company in the world, that helped us. And that also we derived because when we looked at global financial crisis, you'll find global financial crisis on who's who were there. And some of the kind of MBAs were involved from Ivy Leagues as well. So that shows people were not concerned about how the society will suffer, not only in US, but across the world. So somewhere we were trying to impregnate or maybe put in the mindset of the students and people that your private actions has public consequences. And that need to be probably nurtured throughout the 2 years. And therein we use the principle of SOS, that to do something for the society or organization, first you need to transform self. That first is self transformation, then organization transformation, and then societal transformation. And we must parallelly also work on what best way we can contribute for the nation building, for societal building point of view. And moment students see what's happening in the marketplace, they see the disparities in the marketplace, haves and have-nots kind of gap, they see digital divide, they see urban-rural divide, and then I'm sure deep down they feel, no, I think while I'm doing something for myself with maybe whatever 5-figure, 6-figure kind of salaries, can I do something which will give me sense of satisfaction? And that really makes so much of difference. And I've seen, this is my 26th year with only one organization, people feel sometimes that I'm not probably getting jobs outside. That's why I'm just with one institution. But somewhere I also feel way back that no, institution building is more important than anything else. And that's the way life is. So hopefully students will do wonderful things, and which is acknowledged, not in India, but even by Stanford University acknowledged this significantly well, that yes, this experiment in the democratic country like India of B-School is phenomenal. And I'm very happy that I'm an alumnus of B-School. And that too I did after working for 9 years with Mahindra & Mahindra, my 2 years in 1993, and still I personally get a sense that management education sometimes becomes only the kind of, for the privileged one. And that's why I mentioned about access. And we did one beautiful experiment way back, actually almost 10, 12 years back, Project Netrutva, Project Leadership. And therein, very briefly, what we did is a kind of, graduation probably must for getting enrolled for MBA is 50% must for getting enrolled for MBA. And then after going through so much of kind of competitive exams, only you get into it. And in Maharashtra, if you look at it, that percentage which is eligible to even apply for MBA, PGDM is only 6%. Now, does that mean that remaining 94% are not supposed to be managers or leaders? Impossible. And we actually worked on that, and we actually picked up 2 students who are actually serving tea, coffee in Mahindra & Mahindra, Anand Mahindra's office, and one was on admin side out of many such students. And we experimented on that, and we continued that experiment for at least 4 or 5 years for such kind of students who are not qualified. We were not supposed to give them any qualification of AICTE, but yes, only certification. But let them learn like any other student who's maybe advantaged or who got access to education. And we are concerned about the 94%. And the same situation happens in the kind of, in India and many states as well. And then we realized that these same students who not having such kind of even graduation or percentage, but can reach to that level. When ICICI Bank recruited both these boys, one was 11th standard fail, other boy was studying in the night college with a 50,000 salary on 4th Jan 2007. So somewhere we are more than convinced that education or management education also should not be monopoly of only a handful of few students, few people who are resourceful. They're blessed maybe by the Almighty, they're good maybe in studies as well, but what happens to others? So online education and NEP further will really open up the vistas, open up the doors for many such students for the affordable education. We believe that affordable excellence should be name of the game. And from that angle, that we have close to about 30,000 odd students of our distance learning ODL kind of programs. We literally feel that this will actually open up the kind of, technology as a game changer, will open up the, I'd say, opportunities for thousands and kind of lakhs of students who probably can pursue, and not necessarily everybody should come to the, classrooms of the 4 walls. But typically we define classroom as what? 4 walls. But we try to define education, that education is what you remember after you've forgotten what you memorized. And from that angle, we feel that the marketplace is a classroom, nature is a classroom, and online education has opened up the opportunities wherein you can carry your maybe your iPad, your maybe mobile, your laptop, go to any place in the world, and anytime and anywhere you have opportunities for the deserving students. And that's why we try to encourage them, these deserving students, with scholarships and like Protsan's kind of scholarships. And with COVID situation, this is far more kind of, very significant with COVID situation when you don't have access to the classroom. Last almost 8 months, we are totally down. But has that affected on the spirit of the students? I don't think so. See, formal education allows you or gives you opportunity to build your social skills, to develop a network in the classroom. And in formal education also, there's not only one teacher who's teaching you from this side, the so-called teacher or guru, but your teachers are other your colleagues in the class, your classmates, they themselves are your teachers as well, if you look at from that point of view. But those days, these opportunities were not opened up so much. So that's why they opted for, and we also gave them that opportunity in the classroom. We wanted to experiment. But in today's time, my hunch is students will really opt for virtual mode if such kind of opportunities exist. And when everybody is looking at education from the investment point of view, it is quite I'd say significant for them that yes, if opportunity is not really physically going and shifting from one base to other base, one city to other city, and maybe because of many constraints, financial constraints, and a lot of other constraints, they prefer to go in virtual mode definitely. I'll say that this is not a question of this or that. This is definitely this and that, and that's the way we're trying to leverage. And what we experimented in last, I'll say 7-8 months, is absolutely, I'll say, significant in terms of we could leverage the best of the virtual world. We were aware of the face-to-face world anyway, but just to share with the maybe yourself, students as well. Last year, I still remember Jan 29th, 2019, I've announced to my faculty colleagues that technology is bound to disrupt. So our focus or our core fabric is supposed to be Immertech, very clearly, and which is non-negotiable. So some of our projects like GCL, Global Citizen Leadership kind of project, we decided that we must do digital mentoring for all the students. And that 29th of Jan, actually, we got 20 digital maybe mentoring senior people from the corporate world coming to campus and addressing 600 students. And they were there physically in the campus, but they were trying to share with them that yes, technology has led to the stage of game changer and the world is going to be very different tomorrow. At that time, nobody has witnessed or sensed even the COVID is going to come and hit us. So we were actually already prepared because we were sensing that disruption is the name of the game, because we also conducted certain programs this year, Jan, on future of work, future of workplace, future of jobs. 2 days international conference and getting some of the best people across the world. So I think, what you said is very correct, but we can't just rely upon only one side of it. Leverage the best of both the things. And I'm sure, I think everyone must have witnessed the Smart India Hackathon of MHRD. Now, this was the first attempt did by MHRD, maybe this was the 4th year. We were one of the very few business schools in the country who were parted as a nodal center for Smart India Hackathon in a face-to-face manner. This year we did virtual as well. And believe me, the response was superb, the way in which students could learn. So the probably geography, location is not a bar, but yes, certain areas like social skills, peer group learning, as you mentioned. So some of those aspects, I think, are also required. So I think we can leverage the both the sides. I feel sustainability will probably come into picture only when you tend to develop even multiple stakeholder driven approach, because it is not just only you and your pie, but yes, there's a world exists beyond this, and you have to go through that ups and downs in the life all the time. So that's why you need to far more empathy driven or need analyst driven kind of manager or leader. And we also try to embed the thought process of integrated manager kind of thought process. It is not only marketing, finance, and HR and ops, but you should think like a maybe T-shaped mindset. The breadth of the T is all this kind of specializations and maybe different areas like ethnography and anthropology. And depth of the T is your interest or inclination. So somewhere deep down, when you start looking into point of view of integrated manager, then things would be far better. And we actually nurture the thought process of IBR is greater than ROI. The significance of IBR is investment before returns, is greater than ROI. And if you see V School all the time, that we first invested in this campus at Mumbai, we benchmarked with Kellogg's and University of Chicago, Booth School of Business. Way back in 1990, I did when I was in Booth School for program. And 2000, when I took over the director, then we invested. But we thought that if somebody visits NYU Stern in the heart of Manhattan, and if they visit even V School in Mumbai, they should not feel any difference. So somewhere deep down, this kind of thought process, nurturing leadership or visionary thought process for the students from the futuristic point of view can make a lot of difference. And belief in whatever, it may sound cliche, but belief in people, planet and profit, in that sequence if you look at it, or TBL, people bottom line if you look at it, that makes sense. And you can appreciate that we changed the name to V School. We changed that name on 4th November 2008 exactly. And when Barack Obama was winning election, half page was his news of change, and we are talking about half page in India, because we feel that I is not going to be useful, or me is not going to be useful. Name of the game for the future is we. So every me reinforces we, and vice versa. We reinforces me or I as well. And otherwise, you can't think of leadership, you can't think of design thinking, innovation at all. So somewhere deep down, I feel if we start exposing our students, our teachers to the marketplace, how things are, maybe in tribal places, maybe in urban poverty, or maybe any. See, if they start being on the kind of bare feet and going to the grassroots, the grassroots approach, frankly speaking, we also have rural program and other programs also we try to do it. That grassroots level approach, in my opinion, helps substantially. I mean, if I go back to what Swami Vivekananda ji did, those days of actually moving around India for 2 years, Gandhiji did. I mean, Gandhiji was told by those days Namdar Gokhale that Bapu first discover India and be on feet. So somewhere at least if our students, we ourselves go and at least try to explore our own country, I'm sure we will change in terms of that mindset, and that will lead to what probably we are expecting for the better future, better tomorrow for all of us. Somewhere V School actually took the advantage in the marketplace only because of our belief that we should be pioneers for the futuristic programs. So that's why you will find the e-business we launched for the first time in 2001, when people were actually criticizing us that .com burst has happened in Valley, still you are going with e-business. 2001, autonomous, no AICTE wasn't aware of. 2002 first time retail program. In fact, Kishore Biani joined hands with us in 2005, and then in fact 2002. Likewise, we did design program, design thinking, business design program, first time in India for 2006. And myself and my team spent 1 full month in US, 1 full week with the IDEO, which is supposed to be #1 innovation firm in the world, IDEO. And we got IDEO for the first time in India. Likewise, other programs as well. So somewhere deep down, you'll find, having that appetite or having that quest to try to explore or sense the future, that really helps us. And at least education should not give up just because something is going wrong. And otherwise, you would not have started with rural program, M&D program, media entertainment, or analytics kind of program. All these programs we could really start it because of our appetite. And AICTE came into picture far late, maybe after 7 years, 8 years, 10 years. But we had that appetite that IBR is greater than ROI, and we want to do something new for the marketplace, and that gives a sense of satisfaction. Otherwise, the life just running one program like my MMS or MBA for many years, and you'll find that status quo. People don't understand, teachers don't understand, academic leadership, they don't understand the price which we pay for the status quo, not only for your business school, but for society and for the nation as well. So somewhere we should break all some kind of myths. We may go through rough weather, but that's okay, that's part of the game. Otherwise, life is not life.